Thanks for being with us tonight here on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schneid. It's Wednesday, October 29th, and another episode of Utah's Missing tonight. We're speaking to a private investigator, now part of the search for missing 16-year-old Kylie Arelleano. Garden City, Utah, a small community in Rich County on the west side of Bear Lake. For some, it's a popular summer resort destination town. Nicknamed the Caribbean of the Rockies, family of Kylie Arelleano calling Garden City home. It has now been 153 days since the now 16-year-old walked away from her Garden City home, reported to have turned her phone off at the edge of their property, leaving with a suitcase in tow. Kylie's mother says a teenager doesn't just vanish without a trace, but there's been no communication, social media posts, nothing since she left home. Tonight, we welcome private investigator Steve Fisher, who is now part of this case. Steve and I have been in conversation about other cases here in Utah, and you have some involvement now on the Kylie Arelleano situation, spanning now months here. Steve, how did you get involved in the case?
So I was through a different case that I was, working in Utah, and that parent, put me in touch with Kylie's mom, and we started talking, and she has other people that are working with her as well. But I'm lending assistance where I can.
Steve, what stands out to you with this situation? Maybe the lack of information, the answers. What stands out to you now that you've been brought up to speed here?
Well, unfortunately, I think that she was treated just as a missing, a runaway missing that was just going through a moment, and a lot of time was lost there. And instead of being treated like an endangered, critical missing, where it's there's a lot more investigation going on, she, like so many teenagers her age, had a large online presence and on different apps and whatnot. And as far as I know, there has not been warrants served on those companies to get that data and who she was communicating with. We have been able to access some of those accounts, and we saw, threatening messages to her if she didn't send explicit imagery. Those are things that we think should be treated really seriously. And as far as we know, warrants haven't been issued.
So you've alluded to the concept of things not being done early on in this case, which is something that Kylie's family has felt and expressed since the very beginning. In theory, what would you have liked to see done right away when this happened back in late May now? It's been basically 6 months.
Yeah, so immediately, serve, warrants on the exigent departments of those, Discord and the other platforms she was using, and they'll get those returns back within, 24 hours most of the time. You can see exactly who she was communicating with, what those IP addresses are, what those messages, contain, which we now know there was, some threatening messages in there that people at least, blackmailing her, and, and then also her phone, where exactly was it before it shut off, and, any other usage patterns, deviations in regular usage, things like that. But I believe at the beginning it was thought, hey, listen, she'll calm down and she'll, call or come home. And that's just not the case 153 days later. And even though it wasn't done, it still needs, it needs to be done, even if it's 153 days later. That needs to be done. And law enforcement's the only one that can issue those warrants.
So with Kylie being classified as a runaway, it sounds like that may have also hurt the initial search for her. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Every state has different standards how they treat runaway cases, and most of the time they're just considered kind of like a voluntary missing adult, and it's so many times it's not the case. There's something else going on. There's a reason that they're running away, and they need to be found, and then they need to be deeper by clinical, people that are trained in this to find out exactly what's going on and why they're running in the first place.
So how does time impact what we see here? The further time passes, does it get more difficult? Do the clues start going away? Do the clues get erased at that point when we get to day 153 compared to maybe a week or so or hours after somebody's been missing?
Yeah, in just about every layer, it goes away. So surveillance. Typically people have about 30-day retention on their surveillance systems, the ring cameras and whatnot. So that's overwritten, by now. So we lose that. Just the geofence itself, where she could be, expands. To there are no borders anymore. So now it just becomes until we get a clue, we can narrow down a location. She literally 153 days, she can be anywhere. So by losing, surveillance, the retention will still be there on the digital forensics from like the social media companies and whatnot. But if somebody has her, it just gives them so much time to put, plans in motion it just makes it a much bigger, a true, needle in a haystack.
Well, we've spoken with the sheriff's office right here on this very program. We've done a number of pieces about Kylie to keep the awareness, to keep her face out there in case somebody sees her, maybe public transit or with another individual or maybe with a group of people, that this face will be recognizable. And that's always been our goal here. The sheriff told me a few months ago now that they did have tips come in with potential sightings. Everything was unfounded, from locally here in Salt Lake City, Utah, to places really all over the country. And at this point, Steve, what else can be done from the PI side, from what you're looking to do? How will you take this from here?
So we continue to, chase these digital, leads that we get. We're trying to learn who, with these apps like Discord and whatnot, these people are using screen names, they're anonymous, but we've had some luck in tracking down some of the people. And, programs like yours make a huge difference. There was a lead that came in not long ago from Alabama. We talked to that person. We ended up getting surveillance from the store and it was somebody that looked remarkably like Kylie. It wasn't her, but by there being this outreach, people across the country know about this case. Or learn more about it, and we get leads like that, and they do pay off sometimes. So, chasing down things like that, and then also just trying to talk to people that were in her orbit. And listen, there likely is somebody, a friend, online friend that knows something, and just doesn't want to give it up because they don't want to be, the person that turned on her or something. It could be a situation like that. It's just 153 days later, she's 15 years old. She needs to come home, and then we can find out what's really going on. But if anybody knows anything, it's just a really desperate situation.
Steve, last thing for you. The FBI apparently does have involvement in this case. We've kind of heard both messaging on this, but even as of late, there's been FBI involvement. What can that do here and expand the resource beyond just what's happening in the local county there?
Well, the FBI is the best there is in digital forensics. They have tools to trace down, even burner phones and things like that. And they have recently gotten involved, and they've been, fantastic. Her mom has been working with an agent, and they really are making an effort. And that's great news, because the FBI has a toolbox bigger than anybody else. And although the sheriff's department still is the lead agency, so the FBI will work the case, but only to the extent that they're not overstepping the sheriff's department. So as long as they can work together, I think this is a great, thing to have them on board, because they do have amazing capabilities.
Well, the goal here is the same as it's been since the beginning. Keep the photo out there, keep the awareness going, bring Kylie home, and get the family some answers. Steve Fisher, private investigator, now assisting with the case and working those leads and trying to get some answers, and also share that with the family and the investigation. Steve, thanks for joining us here on the program tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So Kylie's mother says she's had no contact with her daughter since late May, when she's disappeared. We've talked about that extensively here on the program. Now her family started this GoFundMe to help support legal fees and search efforts. Kylie's 5'6", weighing roughly 150 pounds. That's 115. She has chin-length brown hair, brown eyes, black braces with tattoos. If you have any information on her whereabouts, the point of contact, as you just heard, Rich County Sheriff's Office, 435-793-2285, referencing case number 25R308. And as always, for continued coverage on Utah's missing cases, we make it a point here every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock on Ark Salt Lake to bring you those. We are dedicated to helping some Utahns find answers or closures, whether they're recent cases, even cold cases like we shared with you last week. Like always, you can reach out to me on social media if you have a case you'd like us to take a look into. 4 strangers connected forever by a single terrifying moment. 6 weeks later, they're still trying to heal from what they saw at a Utah Valley University student event. Coming up on Ark Salt Lake, their stories of trauma, hope, and resilience. One moment that evoked 4 different perspectives. 4 witnesses to the Charlie Kirk murder sat down with Jim Spiewak for a nearly hour-long discussion. Tonight, Jim shares the part of the conversation about what they remember from that day and how they've been coping in the weeks since.
I kind of buried it down. I'm still processing it.
It was hard the first 2 weeks. It was really hard. I still think about it to this day.
The only path forward is healing and helping.
Do you replay that moment in time? Have you replayed it in your mind?
In the most unexpected times.
4 strangers now forever linked by a single moment they cannot unsee. Jason Behunin, Christian Overton, Kurt Lichty, and 15-year-old Carter Lloyd all witnessed the same thing back on September 10th, but more than 6 weeks later are all still processing it in very different ways. As a retired corrections officer, Jason has seen some terrible things, but
It's hard to look at UVU as you're driving down because I witnessed something that was tragic.
Kurt, also a retired law enforcement officer and combat veteran, struggled initially.
How have you been coping and getting through this?
The first couple weeks, couldn't sleep. It's up till 2 a.m. trying to correct people online who were saying stupid things about what was going on and what they saw and what they know about UVU. And I'm like, you don't understand. This is my school. This is my kid's school.
Christian is coping on two fronts, his own trauma and his son's. The Facebook support group that he started for others who were there has given him some peace, but at home, he's still trying to help his teenage son process what they both saw that day.
How is he doing, and how are you helping him?
I'm here for him when he's ready to talk, when that time becomes, apparent for him. But right now, it's a tough thing to deal with.
15-year-old Carter is in therapy. Her family and friends have been a huge support.
Processing is just really hard because normal things that were normal to you aren't very normal anymore.
Because when they showed up on September 10th, no one could have imagined they would witness someone getting shot.
I see his body getting carried out, covered in blood. And you just feel absolute terror. Like, I just remember thinking, like, am I gonna die? Or are they gonna keep on shooting?
Our first thought was, this is a mass shooting. There's going to be more shots.
It's really what it sounded like somebody just lit a firework. And I went right back to look at Charlie, and that's where I saw the hole in his neck.
I didn't know what to think. I actually kind of just went numb at the point. I didn't know what was going on. Just everybody started yelling and screaming.
For those who were there on September 10th, it will always be the day that a debate turned into a crime scene. They all saw the exact same thing, but are processing it very, very differently. But they all agreed that fear does not get to win. I'm reporting in studio tonight, Jim Spiewak, KUTV 2 News.
Some great viewer video to showcase the fall colors still present in Santa Quinn Canyon. You see the glow, and obviously the glow up top is spectacular. Sean, this is majestic. We probably are running out of time if you want to catch any colors, at least at even higher elevations.
Right, yeah, I mean, first of all, Chris Williams sending us some of the best footage
Thank you,
all
Chris.
the time.
Always.
The pictures, the videos.
Love you, Chris.
By the way, I've noticed our sunsets here the past several evenings have been, man, what a time to be alive here. But yeah, the fall colors, I like living in Salt Lake City because we have two falls. I feel like people take that for granted. It starts up in the mountains, and now it's in the valleys.
It's in the neighborhoods, right?
The valleys are looking
neighborhood.
good. Yeah, so just driving around, it's nice. But again, this time of the year comes with the inversions, and we've been dealing with the inversions here across the Wasatch Front. So that's going to be something that we just got to get used to here. I know a lot of people may see or feel burning eyes, scratchy eyes here with this pollution. But again, it will get a little bit better by the end of the week. 57, though, is our high temperature today. Another unseasonably cool day by a few degrees here. Those temperatures right now cooling off pretty quickly. We're already down into the 40s and low 50s here up and down the Wasatch Front. A chilly evening, but again, much better than yesterday at this time. 4 to 16 degrees warmer, in fact, than yesterday at this time. You can see temperatures across the state here. 52 in Hanksville, we're at 44 in Vernal, 52 in Delta, 71 right now in the St. George area. Again, the pollution definitely in the focus of the weather story here with the inversions in place, so air quality definitely an issue through tomorrow. Tomorrow, late in the day, though, we get a front, and that will start to mix out, clear out the inversion here, giving us some colder air aloft, and that will help bring in not only some cooler air, but also a nice change here with some more comfortable conditions here with air quality improvements. High pressure system will be building in through the weekend. This will also warm us up as we get into Saturday and Sunday here. So Halloween is looking great. The weekend is looking great. We're into the mid to even the upper 60s in some spots. Here's a look at the position of the high right now. The front that's kind of moving through across the northern part of the state. This is a weak little front here that's not going to be too noticeable. But again, it'll bring us a few clouds up above here through the overnight. But generally, we'll see decreasing clouds through tomorrow tomorrow morning. That will set up the stage for a pretty chilly morning ahead. Just not quite as cold as the past few mornings. I'm not expecting a freeze here across the Wasatch Front. Highs tomorrow, though, nearing 60 degrees, hazy sunshine, and then you can see down towards the south, plenty warm here into the 60s and 70s. Halloween trick-or-treating forecast is looking great with temperatures there going from 60 down to the 50s and 40s here. So on the cold side, make sure the kiddos maybe have a jacket underneath their costume. College game day forecast as well. We're into the 40s, warming up into the 50s here for those going to be getting out there before sunrise. But if that's not your thing, maybe tailgating before the game, temperatures will be really nice. 60s on Saturday. That 8:15 kickoff will be cooling things down into the evening hours. So St. George, you're looking at temperatures here that warm up really nicely in the days ahead. We're back up close to 80 degrees by the end of the week, into the weekend, looking great. We fall back this weekend, Brian. That's also something. I like the extra hour of sleep at the really, really early sunset's not really my thing, but we'll take the extra hour of sleep and temperatures into next week, Brian. I think Monday, Tuesday could be some golf weather as well.
I think it's the only thing about this time of year that it gets a little messy with the sunrise, sunset, and just got to deal. Just got to deal at this point.
Well, when's it going to end? When is it going to end?
I don't know. They've had a bill in the works
forever.
They've
been working on it. They've been working on it.
They've got a bill in the works forever. I think Congress has to decide or something, but they've got enough on their plate right now, so we won't worry about that. Sean, thank you. Court was in session, but one officer was not dressed to impress. Coming up on Ark Salt Lake, why you should always check the Zoom camera preview.
You got some pants on, officer?
Sir, they're in the. No, sir.
Okay. A pantsless policeman left a Michigan judge speechless. Apparently, I can't talk either after watching that. After appearing for a Zoom hearing in his boxers.
Yeah, Officer Jackson was seemingly unaware that his camera was revealing that he was only half dressed.
Revealing, yeah.
Yeah, you remember the same judge from a viral online court session back in June after a defendant showed up late to the virtual hearing and attempted to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich during the call. Safe to say Judge Perkins has seen it all.
That's what happens when you do Zoom, virtual. So dictionary.com picks 6'7" as its 2025 word of the year. You know that thing that's going around doesn't really have a meaning?
No, I don't really know what that means.
Okay, get up to speed here, bud.
That's good. You're not supposed to know.
Exactly. 6'7", apparently an ambiguous slang term made popular by Gen Alpha on social media and in schools. Again, Sean, doesn't really have a meaning, so this is what they do with it, though. See you tomorrow night.
Okay.